Hi, this is Mia. I hope the mic is on. I'm gonna make a prepping video. I've been crying since yesterday, on and off. I went to work. We're supposed to have freezing rain. We're supposed to have it this morning, and then it keeps getting pushed up or not doing anything. Or it's supposed to be freezing rain in my town, but not at work. So I actually drove my boyfriend's vehicle, 4-wheel drive, to my job sites because they're out in the middle of an island or the edge of an island in the near the water and the woods and farmland. So I wasn't sure after last week when the weather was bad. I wasn't sure what to expect today. That's what I don't like is forecast. So my partner's COVID second dose got canceled Friday because the forecast, like on Monday or Saturday or Tuesday or something for Friday, it got canceled till next week, or postponed, I should say. And then, because it was weird. I had noticed my iPad had a QR code reader on it on the photo, and I didn't realize that before. I know my old phone, it was like you could download the reader, and I never did it. But it was weird because it took me to the site, and it was like appointment times, and there was like mostly full, and there was a bunch of appointments though. So let me see if they just kicked him out because they randomly, the computer glitch or something. Let me see if it's still going on, because if there's still appointments, let me make him another one for today, like that, say, like Friday, and put him in. And then I scrolled up, and it did say indeed those same times from that. It was on a QR code. They had the first dose, second dose pre-printed on a card, so they would give all the participants that. Um, Anyways, I end up seeing that it was all appointments for next week. I couldn't click on anything. I think this might have been a different day. I could see where you could. No, I think this is a different day where I found the health department link, and I left that on all day and didn't take it off my iPad because it's like the QR code. Put a square on it, and then on the top it says, "Do you want to connect to that website?" And I click on it, and it said later on, "You do not have the authority to view this website," which I thought was really weird. Like later that evening or the next day. And it was really weird that it was not letting me access it. I didn't need to because I already had the second dose. People are surprised because I'm a naturopath that I had this. I've been cranky ever since I had it, and I wrote that as one of my symptoms. I was like, oh, maybe it's PMS. Oh, maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. So I'm at home by myself, and I'm usually not home by myself. I just gotta. There's a bank. I've tried to get a business account through Navy Federal, and they said you needed the military person to let you get your account. But I was like, I have a USAA. I wonder if I can use that instead of having to. I didn't even call the bank and ask. I could have asked and used my dad's name because I was like, I didn't want to call my dad and ask. But yeah, I'm convinced that there's frozen rain over here. I'm convinced that there's ice forming on the window over here, and I'm not that convinced. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I feel really sick. It could be the vaccine. Um, I feel really hungry. I've been having my headaches. The post office job is supposed to call everyone back to work. Maybe. They always say, oh, you get unemployment. Oh, you'll get this. Oh, you're going to work to the 8th. Oh, you're just. Everything so far, the stuff that they said has not come true. And they tell you this during the orientation. So I feel like there's only like 6 people in the room for the job. I wonder if they just tell you what you want to hear so that you're like, forget this. This isn't the job for me. You know what I mean? Like, what if they say, oh, yeah, you're going to get this. You're going to get unemployment after working for 3 weeks and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I haven't received anything. It's not. I said that it was a federal job. It's not. I'm going to throw that thing away. That's disgusting. This bug thing is so gross. It's from last summer. Look at the shelf is blocking my clothes. It's like I am not in the mood for anything. I can't believe, like, I feel guilty that I feel okay that I'm home by myself. I haven't been home by myself in a really long time. Weeks. And I was working at the post office for like 3 or 4 weeks. And they had, my boyfriend had got to be home from like between 2 and sometimes 2, sometimes 4. And usually midnight or sometimes 10 a.m. Or sorry, 10 p.m. Sometimes I've come home as early as like 2 to 4 hours of work. Like when it was like holiday after holiday and no mail has come in, and it's another holiday, Christmas and New Year's and then observed holiday. I don't know. There's some times, but we have to have a different supervisor. We're gonna keep you there for these 2 hours, but there's no mail. There's no mail, and apparently the workers who are career are supposed to get 8 hours every time they come in. So I don't even know if they send them home, or if they just have to stay there, or if they get paid and go home. It'd be kind of nice if they got paid and got home. I mean, but because it's like tiring to be there. We were there 6 days a week. Some people might have been, when we got all laid off, some people might have been 6 to 2 weeks, 6 days, a couple weeks. I feel really sick. I feel really like headachy. I feel like my sinuses are just killing me right now. Like my eyes are puffy at a pile of dirty tissues right here. In fact, just to be kosher about it, like that's religious, I don't know. But just to be clean about it, I am going to put these in the trash because this is not. This place is too messy to be having to deal with. It's like a plastic bag. I'm just gonna get rid of it. Sometimes these bags are just from my lunch. I don't necessarily want to get rid of this stuff. It looks like brand new. It's like I want to save everything. So their preppers are saying to save any container, window top, window sill. Heck, I almost grew a garden in my car. Like, this is a nice greenhouse. Preppers are saying to put everything, and I have these containers and these jars and these other containers. Like, I could store rice in there, or I could store nuts in there. I'm telling my boyfriend, you're going to take care of yourself from now on. I'm not going to help you with stuff anymore, because I asked for an eggplant and you to put some water in the thing and turn it on. I didn't even ask about the tea. I was like, figure, with my leg hurting me, I figure it'll motivate me. I wasn't really being a brat, because I go and do stuff, get him stuff, got him AAA. If they said, add a housemate for $10, they wouldn't add him. They made me still pay $60, because they tried to say that the zip code on the license was different than mine or something. Like, I was just like they did the same thing to my daughter. I was trying to add her the first time. It said if they were under 18 and it's their first year, it was supposed to be free, and that they wouldn't give it to me for free. And she was learning how to drive, and I just wanted her to have it. Roadside assistant, like, even if I guess sometimes they say, if you're with a friend, it'll work if you're with your friend at the time, but I don't know, Like I said, and then it turned into kind of like her friends could help her drive. You know what I mean? Or potentially she could be driving her friend's car, and I think you could still use it. I said, let's get her own as a gift. So that's kind of sad. I feel like crying. I had just looked at my phone. I was distracted from something, and it said, this lady just gave me that bank thing. You have an appointment. The thing popped up. Oh, shoot, I have an appointment. My Samsung Cloud is 80% full. What in the world? And think it's today. So there's a snowstorm. There's a PPP loan. Oh, I can send my... Wait. Lending point. Is this a PPP? What is this for? Lending point. Oh, it's eBay seller capital. If I borrow $500, it's going to cost me $33. I don't really want to do it. I need to take a shower and wash these clothes. These stink. So this is a raw evolution. I could pay like $190, including shipping, for this box, this 10-pound box. Here's a picture of this is a completely raw sandwich. This week's is celery strong pressed juice, Pacific Ocean sunrise fresh pressed juice. That sounds good. So it's pineapple, orange, and strawberry. Oh my god, that sounds so good. Mushroom ragu, apple fennel slaw, cauliflower couscous, turmeric chopped salad, pesto pasta, soft taco with heirloom pico de gallo, Greek pizza, cocoforia sandwich. That sandwich has pictures. Looks really good, doesn't it? What is that one? It's like a burger, like a raw burger. You know what sounds good? A raw burger with mushrooms, raspberry cream parfait, and chocolate coconut brownie. I always give my boyfriend the chocolate. So the cocoforia sandwich is actually coconut meat, maybe young coconut meat, sliced kind of like mandarin oranges, like small and thin, or like a little bit longer. And then it's kind of soft, like you can bite into it. I don't even know if it resembles any type of meat. It'd be like, I don't know, maybe chunks of turkey. They had that really good cauliflower. They had a really good cauliflower mashed potato. So speaking of this, it's $120. It's like 10 items, $12 a piece. So the juice and the pizza is only like this big, but it's got like a raw crust. It's like the raw bread I have. I forget what it's called, like the wraps, but cut, and then it's got like a really thin layer of a fake cheese. Then I don't even know if it has like, it might have like chopped up, diced tomato. Sometimes it has olives. The Greek one has olives. What is the other one? Pineapple. This is making my mouth water. But it's like this big, and I'm on a do not buy anything for 30 days challenge. My unemployment got cut off. I wanted it denied in the first place so I could get the PUA. It got to where they didn't deny it, but they approved it because of the situation, and they retroactively denied it. And then that's from one state, and the other state where I just got laid off 3 jobs since October. One, I got laid off in October. One, I got laid off in January. No, 2, I got laid off in January. And February is almost over, or it's halfway through February, and I didn't get a penny from anybody at all this year. And I still had a claim for my other job. It should have been both of the jobs to reduce my hours. I should have got the claim. When your job reduces your hours, you look for other jobs. And this was the first time I said that I was going to get health care out of town and go back to my house I'm running and my clinic that I'm running and see my patients that I see that actually brings in money, and then come here once in a while. I was thinking 4 times a year, be in Portland and come here 4 times a year. That last trip on the plane, maybe COVID was already going on. I felt horribly tired, and I thought maybe 3 times a year, maybe 2 times a year, but my boyfriend's kids are out here. So we're not getting along. I didn't get along last week and the week before, and he was in a good mood. No, there's this thing that has water in it. It looks all weird. It looks like really dirty. Oh well. Yeah, I have no money. My credit card is a 1,666 or whatever. 67, sorry, and 91 cents. I ordered from my clinic. I had a patient. I needed a infant scale. It turns into a taller scale. I ordered 2 blankets so that I could lay it on there. 2 cotton. I don't know if they're organic. I ordered what the heck? I ordered Life Straw, Sawyer Mini Filter, Lugol's iodine. Was it 2%? Regular iodine. I'm trying to think what they call it. Water pills, where you put it in the water. I think it's 24 hours. You got to put it in a gallon of water or something. I said Life Straw. Oh, and 4 containers of my honey. So I was getting this. I was getting it sometimes wholesale, and I was getting it from the store, and I was getting it from Vitacost. Vitacost is out. I don't have my office. I had office space here. I shut down, so I can't. I need to deliver to a actual place. In fact, I'm going to call them and ask. I don't have the money for it. I also have supplements. I don't have the money for this either. These really help. And I told somebody just now from the program that my 12-step program, that I like to do natural meds and that I wasn't getting treated. So basically, thinking about prepping. I'm trying to farm it around my life. I was trying to get denied unemployment. I was looking for a job while I waited for my medical license here. I was going to do my medical license here and come here a couple of times a year and see patients here and do distance and go back to my house where my car is, where my office is, where my clothes are, where my coats and my boots and my swimsuit and all of my stuff. I did bring my passport, my social security card, but just in case. Cause what I was going to do, I was trying to take a family medical leave, or the medical leave. I had twisted my ankle at Pizza Hut, my right ankle. I wanted to take a family medical leave. I'm actually going to physical therapy now. I went to a doctor, but she had to reestablish care. It was just a big mess. So we didn't address my ankle at that visit, and I didn't come back because I was working too much. And my supervisor's out on paternity leave. And I was the next in command for the whole, temples hurt. Anyways, I hurt myself. We didn't get breaks. My hours got cut in half. And they went up a little bit, partly because he was going on vacation and on leave. So I was working like 40 hours, 36 to 40 hours when I started, and then it's cut in half, like 15 to 20 hours. And the new people were getting more hours. And I ended up, I had got that job because my other job cut my hours. I got that job, and then I took a leave of absence from the other job because of medical issues, and part of it, the job changed in that the store I was at, the equipment was moved outdoors. So you have like a 400-pound cart that's designed to be rolled on a concrete grocery store. They put it out in the parking lot, in the snow, in the ice, the bumps. The thing was falling apart. Stuff was falling on me. I was trying to get people to move it. They said, "Oh, you can't keep it in the store. You have to keep it outdoors in the weather, in the dark." And just tore up my body. The cart was getting torn out, so I took a break, and I was going to come back to that and see. They had given me breaks and accommodations for my health because of the car accident. And then when I twisted my ankle at Pizza Hut, they already didn't give me accommodations. Like, I'm talking the first accommodation. They didn't give you any lunch break. They don't give you any bathroom break. They don't give you any break. If you're a cook, you might be able to get a break. You go to the bathroom or something. But if you're a manager or shift lead, some people sat around, so their whole shift was a break. What does that mean? They have a lot of people working, standing around, eating. And when I would come in at night, the supervisors send everybody home. Most of the pizza stuff is at night, dinner time till closing. They send everyone home, so there is no break. There's 4 phone lines. There's there's 4 computers, 4 phone lines. Wait, yeah, 4 phone lines. They had 3. They had 4, and then they had 1 phone not plugged in. So then it ended up, and you had to answer the phones, or else you get like your whole store would get like written up. And if you got a certain percent of missed calls, like a couple, if you had 1 missed call, you get in trouble. If you had like 2 or 3 or 4, sometimes people, I don't know how it is people call and hang up, and that one, your boss has to have a corporate conference call the next morning, which then puts you back, because then you're not being efficient. It's like, why are you missing calls? They're not being efficient. But you have to do an hour conference call to talk about the problem. And the problem is, like, you don't have enough people here, you don't have enough people prepping, or you don't have the resources to maintain that level of. So it's not just answering the phones. There's a separate job, customer service job. You had to answer the phones, do the counter, make the pizza, get the pizza and the foods out, cut it, box it, package it in a bag or a warmer, do dishes. Because say you need to make cinnamon rolls and someone didn't prep them, and they're in the freezer. They're supposed to be thawed out like 3 days ago or 2 days ago. So you have to get the pans. They might be dirty, so you have to wash those, pull them out of the sanitizer, bring them over here, go get the trays, go in the freezer, top shelf, get the cinnamon rolls, set them out, try to let them warm up. You have like 4 minutes max to make each food item before you can, like, they want you to do it in under 2, but 4 minutes, after 4 minutes you're in trouble. Each item, if you have super supreme with 10,000 pepperoni, you have to do it. And you have a whole bunch of other orders, you have all the phones ringing, you got to wash your hands before you answer the phone, you got to wash your hands after you hang up the phone, you have a headset that you don't have an earpiece for. It's ridiculous. The door's got a line all the way out. People are, twiddling their thumbs and tapping on their counter, and you have to do the dishes. You have to make the lunch for the next day, school lunch. Your cooks will always go home and say, oh, I don't feel it, oh, I have a ride, oh, this, oh, that, oh, I have a test tomorrow. And they're going to go home, oh, I'm going on vacation, oh, me and my girlfriend's going to be at my house, I have to clean my house, I have to clean my room. And then you're the only one in there, and they send all the drivers home. So when you get there, there's 3 or 4 drivers standing around doing nothing. The dishes are stacked to the ceiling. They didn't prep the cinnamon rolls. They didn't start the 500, 600, 700 pizzas that you need to start prepping. You have to thaw that dough. Then you have to do several hundred more dough, which you have to carry a stack. There's no cart in the door. You're not allowed to leave the refrigerator door open. So you have to sit those out for a few minutes. And then you're supposed to lift like a 10-pack of metal plastic dough. And then balance that, open the door, run in before it hits you, and then lift it up and put it on your shelf. So I need accommodations because of my already health. If I was in perfect health with my height, you cannot lift your pizzas up to the ceiling. Like, physically you can't lift it, and if you're strong, you could stand on your toes, but not that amount. So it's like, then you have to take half a stack, take twice as many trips. I already had busted my ankle there, and then like place each one at a time. So then you're making like 2,000, 1,800 doughs you're prepping, and that doesn't count the desserts or the pastas, which you have to make the sauce. If the container's dirty, you have to do that. If you're out of food, you have to go and get the peppers and the tomatoes and this and that, and all over the dry food versus the cold food versus the freezer food. Get the chicken and thaw that out. You have to run the fryer. So it's like one person's in. They send all the drivers home. They send all their managers are sitting around talking. They send the cook home. And so there's me as a manager and one driver. If you get 5 orders the rest of the night, then fine. The driver's going to be bored, but this never happens. especially in a snowstorm. It doesn't happen. Football games, basketball, it doesn't matter. Baseball, who cares? People don't even watch baseball. They're gonna order pizza anyway. 420 day, all that stuff. Valentine's Day was one of my worst. The Pizza Hut heart-shaped pizzas, and you have one driver is probably gonna get in the evening, say about 80 deliveries. So 80 deliveries doesn't mean 80 pizzas. One delivery could be 10 pizzas. It could be like 3 or 4 bags, those insulated bags. So you're not allowed to send them on more than one. It's like this guy's neighbor ordered pizza and he ordered pizza. You're supposed to send them back all the way to the store, get the pizza, and go back. People do that, they're going to call and say, my pizza's cold, or they're in a rush and they weren't nice, or someone's going to call, oh, this person didn't let me merge onto the freeway. Well, you're merging. You're not supposed to disrupt traffic. Like, I'll let the driver know. You know what I mean? It's like, that's one of our safest drivers, literally, who's been here for 15 years. Like, I watched him drive. I think that you're saying something because they're brown skin. Their skin is Hispanic. I think that's why you're saying something. And they're old. Like, it's not like, you can't take this for granted. You ever see truckers and you're like, oh, I feel safe because they know how to drive because they're professionals. But anything can happen to anyone. You've seen them run into walls. You've seen them fall asleep or trip up. But sometimes it's like, those people are on the road a lot, and they know the road. They memorize the road. They memorize the route. They know the back roads. They know how long the merge is to get on there, and they know what time of day the traffic's usually a certain way. You know, it's like you get that kind of confidence, and that can come across as aggressive when you're driving. Especially when they call and say that your numbers are slow because you're not allowed to send them on a double or especially a triple, you get fired. And then their bosses, supervisors calling saying we're gonna get in trouble tomorrow because you're slow because you had 100 deliveries in 3 hours, and you're like, that's like 33 deliveries an hour with one driver and one person in the store, and you have to sweep and mop and count the tills and do all that office stuff, make the schedule, do the inventory. In the morning, people that were standing around talking and eating up all the food may not have put away the inventory, so you might have it stacked in the middle of the store, in the freezer, and in the fridge that was there since 8:30 in the morning, and then you have to lift all that stuff. You miss the phones when you're in there doing that, you know, because you can't hear it. You miss the door. People say, oh, you have to keep running out. I say, oh, I heard a ding dong. You know, and that's what I did. I had to take a medical leave. We didn't get breaks. I was bleeding through my female product. Especially if you start your period and you have to go to the bathroom, and then it's like your boss there, that you're not allowed to take a break. Like, any day, even when they're not there, they're video recording you. So if you're going to walk away, pizza's going to fall out of the oven because you had diarrhea or something, then you're supposed to go home. You're not supposed to work anyway, but there's no one to cover. Oh, I guess we'll send someone who's already been there for 8 hours and for another 8 hours. Like, they guilt trip you and all this. And then they'll pay favorites and the people with experience and the service. They're going to give their job to a younger person. I'm older. They're going to give your work to a younger person. You know, if it's a stoner, another stoner, or someone who likes to drink, or someone likes this kind of video game, they're going to be like, that's my buddy. I want them to be promoted. Like, so then you see their hours go up, their training go up. Like, dude, you're not even an adult yet. It's like, oh, I feel like like discriminated against, you know, what black female supervisors, you know, how someone that's never had a job before, that's missing work all the time, is going to end up taking my job over. Besides my ankle's been killing me. Besides the ankle injury, not getting breaks, not being able to use the bathroom. Someone tried to say, oh, pizza places don't get breaks because you're not busy all the time, which is not true. I heard someone say that, so it's not like I know the actual fine print of not getting a break, being somewhere for 12 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours, and not even getting one break. having your hours go from 40 to 20 or 15 a week. You look for another job, and then you say, well, I had been denied health care. My partner said that his health care he got in a rural area versus in this metropolitan city. There's like 3 years for the wait list to get an intake for your son. Like, oh, somebody's suicidal. Oh, we still don't have room for you. Oh, you're like about to kick a chair under your noose out from under you. Well, we don't have room for you either. Sorry. Like, we can only take certain people. If you had just called 3 minutes ago, we would have helped you. You know, it's like that kind of crap. I'm like, they're like, well, I better let the person ahead of me go, or someone after me might need it more than me. And it's like, but you say, can I get on the wait list? Like, no. And you're like, what do I do? It's like, well, you don't qualify. It's like, I need mental health care. How do you know I don't qualify if you don't have a diagnosis yet? Or you don't know my intake, you don't know my issue. Oh, we're full. Oh, you're on Medicaid? Oh, heck no, we're not going to take your son. So I left everything. I brought this one bag. I didn't bring any winter clothes or anything. Just had like a jacket and a pair of flats. And came out here, toothbrush. I didn't bring hair ties. Like, I brought like one hair tie thing. And I kept contacting them about family medical leave. And my supervisor quit. My other supervisor won't respond to the emails. The back office computer you could access from home. You could figure that out. But because I wasn't there, they didn't put me on a schedule. I lost access to that. I asked for my sick leave. Didn't get that. I was planning on working there. I said, okay, we did an intake for this appointment. I had already said I want to work in this town. I already told my supervisor that I wanted to work. They were looking for the same job out here, assistant manager in the same town. I said, can I get a letter of referral? And I did a job, tried to request to move to this location, at least temporarily. And I didn't get a response, and I kept my eye on it because it got to the point where my supervisor went on vacation, so I was like super busy because the job sometimes you get out 3 or 4 at night. In the morning, I mean. Anyways, to make a long story short, I came back to work and tried to figure out about the family leave. The HR was no longer working. She went down a level. Her boss quit. Everybody quit. My boss quit. There was no HR to do it. Unemployment yelled at me and told me, if you're assistant manager, how did you not know how to do medical leave? Assistant manager is just shift lead too, or shift lead assistant manager too. Everything like that, your supervisor is in charge of. There's no, like, some jobs you can get online and you could fill out the form. I had my doctor already write a note, asked me where to send it. I was like, I don't know where to send it right now. We had a plane ticket. I said, let me wait until I get the plane ticket. I'll go back and work, figure this out while I'm gone for a few days. And then everything fell apart. Everyone left. There was no supervisor. I don't know who his supervisor was. I found some of the stuff out by the driver. Everything fell apart. This place closed. The place here closed because my place closed because they were too slow. Like, physically slow, making pizzas and getting them delivered. They cut them off. Part of it's they got school lunches, and COVID, people stopped having the school lunches, so that's going to really mess up your numbers when you have an extra 1,000 pizzas a day that you can just zip through. That makes your speed score a lot faster. When you're delivering them all in a big chunk, that makes your delivery speed a lot faster too. Delivering 30 pizzas to one spot, that's one trip there and back, and it does take a half hour, but instead of 30 different trips over the course, it's just like super fast. It like mazes all your scores. So that store closed. it fell apart before I left. And I tried to work there. I told my supervisor I needed a letter of recommendation so I could work part-time while I do the medical leave. I need accommodations like I had at my other job. So that was going to be, that note also is going to, I have also a note from my chiropractor about the accommodations. HR person's like, no, we're not going to give people their accommodations, and they're like trying to get people hired or new employees. Like, we're not going to train them. They're going to not work here anymore because we don't. She's like, I'm not giving them. I'm not allowing accommodations. And the only accommodations you have, if you're a smoker, you get angry, you get mad, start throwing stuff, send them out. You know, if you're, so my son, even, I try not to complain to my kids. My son said, you need a fake vape, Mom. That's the only way you're going to get a break, is if you pretend you're smoking, pretend you're a vapor. I was like, oh my God. And you'll see that on Indeed for the job, for the place, that you don't get breaks unless you're a smoker. And a lot of supervisors are also smokers, so they can stand around outside and talk and share cigarettes and stuff. But it came down to the unemployment saying, okay, you're approved for unemployment for that, and I was expecting to get turned down, so I get PUA for self-employment, and then I ended up getting approved that. I got the extra money. Then I got a letter said we called you back because I thought I had a government job, but apparently the census isn't paid federally, so I didn't get unemployment with that. I wasn't trying to get that right now, but it messed everything up, so I got kicked off the program because 1 week I worked the census, the post office, the ranger job, and self-employment all in 1 week. Then I had gotten laid off already one job, and then that was like my last week with the census. So I did a drive to the next state to do, and they counted overtime. So I was honest, and I put that I earned money, more than $300, and so I got kicked off unemployment. I accidentally still put 40 hours when I meant 30 hours. I did the math over. I said, oh no, and so they couldn't help me. This nice lady couldn't help me get back on. And so they re-interviewed me, which they said we sent a letter. They sent a letter retroactively saying I'm denied from November 2019. And so that's where the cookie crumbled there. I might have to pay the money back. So how do you feel when I lose 3 jobs within a couple months of each other, that I try to work? They could say, oh, you went on medical leave, or you try to go on medical leave, that means you're not available to work. I was working before and after. If you don't get accommodations, if you don't get breaks, if they cut your hours, I have to work because I'm going to have medical issues while I'm working that I can deal with and pay for insurance. Or I'm going to have medical issues and not work and be homeless because I can't pay my rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it comes down to. You have to push through and persevere. And it sucks to not tell your chiropractor what you're doing because it's against the rule if you're not supposed to stand that long, but they won't give you accommodation. Yeah, you quit. Of course you're not going to. You say, why did you quit? Oh, because my chiropractor said don't stand that long or don't lift that way. Like, try to get help. But when I twisted my ankle, I tripped because people, the supervisor and we were training another guy, were in the freezer, and they were blocking the exit, and I walked around them, and it was a ramp, and my foot slipped, and you can't stand there because they're assuming people, and the door's cracked. It's so cold, it fills with like fog, and I hurt myself so bad, and I should have gone home, got an emergency room right away, but I was paying for insurance, like, was it $600-700 a month for insurance, and I was making $15 an hour part-time. So most of my, like, more than 1.5 or 1 and something paycheck was going to insurance. So I was getting insurance. Some of it was like, you have a $33,000 deductible. You have to pay like $700 a month, but you have a deductible until you reach 33,000. Then we'll start paying everything else you have to pay for if it's not a preventative care or treatment, or you know how they do that. And then after the 33,000, I think you still had a copay. So I was like, if I go to emergency or urgent care, this insurance sucks. Like, because I work just enough to not get Medicaid. And part of it is because I was working the other job that had cut my hours from about average of 3 to 6 days a week. And it's only 4-hour shifts, 3 to 4 hour shifts. And 4-hour shift, no, was it 6? It was a 6-hour shift. It was between a 4 and 6-hour shift. 6 hours, had a half an hour lunch. They cut my hours, gave my hours to this lady who didn't even show up at work. She'd come in the night before and set up her stuff, and she'd not go to work. She said she was going to church and stuff. She'd bring her kids to work, her grandkids to work, and all this craziness. So I was like, what the heck? I had to bring my daughter twice because I had to take her in at my lunch break. Or I took my lunch break early. I mean, I had to put her in the deli area, but it's like my kid was over 18, so it's not like she had to be at my side. This lady brought this kid in. She brought the kid in, but then she left like 30 minutes later. Like that's the thing. Like, they came in and they left. They didn't even do their job. That's not my business. I wasn't her supervisor. So from going to 3 minimum, like on a very slow week, to 6, 7, sometimes 14 days in a row, to 0. A lot of weekends were 0, and then they'd have me come in one day, and you could tell that lady had been there because she was stealing stuff from the store and putting it in the carts. So I'd call the supervisor and say, oh, there's all this stuff in the cart, magazines, candles, wax stuff, all kinds of stuff. Trunk of her car. She's like, oh, I gotta take this to the car. And you had to be careful. It was people at work or something in the store. Oh, I gotta take this to the car. And your trunk is full of all these bags, and you're like, I don't know what's going on, you know. She has a blonde hair, blue-eyed, older lady. People probably are just like, oh, she's like, I get treated like a queen wherever I go. She says, I'm in the blonde hair, blue-eye club. Anytime I have a supervisor's blonde hair, blue-eye, they're like, you're in. So I had this to deal with her taking my hours. The customer service people were like, I'm not going to let you sign in for your vending job because this lady's claiming she comes in. She says she's here 7 hours a day. She comes in for half an hour and leaves. She doesn't set up, like, you set up your job. You talk to the customers. You pass out the coupons. You make the food. You wash the dishes. You leave when you're supposed to. Sometimes they leave late. They call me and say, you can't work anymore. And then, like, 15 minutes. It's like, well, something happened, and I couldn't clean up because someone in the meat place was, doing something with the sink, so I had to wait for them to be done. Like, oh, you can't stay late, but you can't work off the clock. What do? You can't leave your mess. So it's basically like you end up being illegal because you have to work off the clock, or you have to figure out something the next day. And like, people are like, how come you took an extra 5-minute break? Well, I wasn't really taking a 5-minute break. I was going to the bathroom and going to buy my product. But I should have taken a 5-minute break because I didn't get paid for 25 minutes last night, because they told me that I'm not allowed to. So it's like, then you have to clean up really early, and they GPS tracked you. You clean up early. Sometimes you still get out late because you're in a big store and it's crowded and you have to push the cart outside and all this stuff. So they took my hours away. All the employees at the store complained. They said, I'm not giving you the book until you call your supervisor right now and say that we're telling you that your employee is not coming to work. Mia's at work every time. She's been here 2-3 years, and now you gave the hours to the other lady, and she's not showing up. She's lying in the book. She's saying she's there from, 10 to 4, and she's not there. But anyways, how does this have to do with prepping? So you think you work these crappy jobs? I'm a doctor. I could get paid. I should be getting paid, in some cases, $350 an hour. That's not even the highest price. That's like a mild to moderate. Like, if I were to do some kind of procedure, homeopathic intake or something like that, then I have to add on the procedures. I'm a sucker for giving people discounts because I'm low income, and I had a 50% off discount from my doctor, which I found out I was actually not allowed to be charging me anything because I was a Medicaid patient, and she refused. She didn't know she could bill Medicaid, so she was billing me for years. And when you're Medicaid in Oregon, you're not supposed to bill them. If you bill them for supplements or a body lotion or something, then your clinic medicinary, you got to have them sign a paper that says, I don't have to buy this. This is a non-covered service, and you have to have them sign it every 30 days. If your month is 31 days, December, you got to sign them December 1st and December 31st. If you know, and I save all those records. Oh, I hope I don't burn my tongue. So what does this have to do with, prepping? So I try to keep my head, I went to that job. I had got a car accident. I got laid off one job. I had to get like neck brace, back brace, ankle brace, knee brace, and all these braces. Actually, I didn't get the ankle brace after I twisted it at Pizza Hut. I got the ankle brace. After the car accident, I couldn't walk really, so it's all wrapped up, walking around all bundled up with these straps and tapes and all kinds of stuff. Going to the doctors all the time, not feeling like I can drive. It's like go to work and just come home and sleep. I started to make dinner for the kids. I had a different diet. So I try to just trudge through this stuff. A single parent, someone's like, oh, you got laid off your job. What are you so worried for? I was like, can you guys pray for me? I have no income. I'm scared I'm going to get kicked out for not being able to pay the rent. Someone's like, your family's going to help you. What are you worried about? I'm like, what family are you talking about? Are you going to help me? You've been talking to my relatives because they don't talk to me. Maybe they told you something that they didn't tell me, you know? So you got to keep your head about it. So when I think about the preppers talking about who are you going to help, it's not like, my favorite story was the little red hen. Oh, you're not going to help me with the sowing. You're not going to help me with the planting. You're not going to help me with the weeding. You're not going to help me with the picking or the cooking, but you want to help me eat it. Too bad. I don't want to be like revengeful like that, but it gets to a point where you wear yourself out that if you don't help yourself, when you do all that work and you don't sow what you reap, then you don't have excess. If they help, then you'd probably have 5 or 6 loaves of bread, too. You'd have excess, too. I mean, it's not saying don't give, but I like that story because it reminds you, where were they when you needed help? And you don't help others to get help from them back. You don't say, oh, I'm going to help this person, and then when I'm not doing well, they're going to help me. I could see it in your family, with your partner. I could see it with your best friend. Oh, shoot, I forgot my wallet, or I don't get paid till Friday. You pay for the coffee this week. I'll pay next week. You can make arrangements like that. This is only my philosophy. You can do what you want, but I don't help others. I don't give. And it's like even that karma thought. I feel like I have bad karma or like a curse, like the Kennedy. Like I'm trying to break that curse of my family. I opened up the Pandora's box. I'm trying to contact my dad. And, let's see. Nope. Still not my boyfriend. It's raining, but I don't think it's freezing. Oh shoot, it is freezing. It's freezing rain, alright. The roof rack is all icicles right now. I'm gonna clean that. I'm gonna film myself cleaning something. I think I'm gonna go put the sheet in the washing machine. But it's keeping your head, realizing that your job doesn't have your back, the unemployment insurance is paid, but they're not paying out. It sucks that when people get in car accidents, they only have liability, they don't have comprehensive. It sucks. Like, I almost feel like you should just have them automatically get a minimum amount of comprehensive, like a couple of thousand, because you're paying so much money, and most of the time you don't use it. I think that sucks, that people say, what's the cheapest insurance? I'm laid off, but I have to have my car so that I can go to job interviews. Like, you fall into predicaments. It's a full spectrum survival. We'll talk about buying property, buying land right now, and going to a couple $1,000, $3,000 to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for a couple acres, putting a home or homes or trailers or whatever, campers or whatever you can on this land, putting a fence around and getting the guard dogs, getting chickens, and having that. If the stuff hits it, I tried to do this before COVID. I tried to do this in Oregon. I'm still looking in Oregon. I'm trying to get this place where if the stuff hits the fan, if we're going to pay $50 a month or pay cash for something on auction, it might be 10 miles off the main road. You take 2 cars up there. You have I had the CB radios I even bought because I had bought CB radios. Me and my daughter were going to drive separately, or if it's 10 miles up the road, you make sure you have your spare tire. You make sure you have a battery, jump, start. Your cell phone might not work. Like 10 miles off the main road is what I meant, on a dirt road. It might not even be a dirt road. You might be driving across straight desert to get to your lot. You might get lost out there. You're not going to have water. You're not going to have electricity. You're not going to have a toilet. Rugged terrain. I don't have an SUV. I was getting ready to rent from Enterprise. Yeah, I had American. I was about to rent a Jeep or a SUV. So I had looked at see how much it is a 4-wheel drive. I got a pair of CB radios. One was actually broken, which we got ripped off. I should have returned it. One worked and one didn't. The one didn't work. That didn't have a fuse in it either, so I had to go buy. And anyways, so my whole life. So these people say you quit your job for no reason and move somewhere. Like, I didn't move somewhere. I still have my house. I didn't move somewhere. I still have my mail going there. I still have my clinic going there. I still see clients there regularly. That's my place. This was supposed to be temporary. COVID caused me to be stuck. Is COVID stopping me from flying home? No, but because I didn't get put back on the clock. I went back with the plane tickets to get put back on the clock. It didn't happen. I got a diagnosis here where my boyfriend is, and this is temporary. This one is not supposed to be habitable. It's not even supposed to be for 2 people. Keep your head. Cody Linden will talk about something, but I can't remember what. Was it 98.6? The book 90. It's either 98.6 or it's not. It's the second book, I think. I can't remember anything. I just remember the first half of his book was talking about the mental stuff, different things. So I feel like I don't want to have to be like, oh, I have to pay them back, or they're going to take money out of my account, or I don't have a job when I had my last paycheck, because the paycheck sometimes 2-3 weeks after you actually worked. They're going to be like, oh, maybe she's over the threshold of not having to pay it back, plus that $600 a week, plus those $300 extra a week. And it's like, well, I'm only making $72 or sometimes minus 36 from that. Sometimes I'm making $40 a week. And I'm putting $40 in the car just to get there those 2 days. And they might get some old thing. Oh, she worked all day at the census this day, and she did a half day the day before, and it was on a Sunday, so she got paid a lot. But that job I got laid off, they didn't even send a letter. I try to contact my supervisor about something because I'm like, I'm going to screenshot this because I don't have any email, no letter, no thing that says, this job is over. I got like random $8 paychecks here and there. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Maybe I worked 15 minutes that whole 1 week. Maybe they gave me some of my sick pay or something. I don't know. Like you know what I mean? Like they could do some payments and they say, oh, you got laid off in January or in December. Why you still got paid the end of January? Well, I don't know because I haven't worked. I sent back the computer. I cannot work. I can't even claim my hours. Like if there's a mistake, I can contact payroll and adjust it, but I can't. You log your hours into the computer, and I don't have the computer, so I send it back, which I try to save the UPS shipping label, tracking and shipping label. I don't have any equipment left, so I cannot work the job because everything is through the computer, through the laptop. So it feels like you get screwed over. It feels like you're being punished. It feels like, God, but I went and did something that I thought you wanted me to do, and now because someone else made a decision that affected me, now I'm in trouble. Now I can only get 1/8 or 8 times less unemployment when I do get unemployment after working so many hours and all this stuff. And it's making me feel sick because I wanted them to deny it so I get PUA. And if I got denied PUA, I applied for about 300 jobs. I still apply for jobs where my house is. I still apply for jobs remote. I still apply for jobs here. Nothing stopped me from flying. I'm scared of, because I'm a single parent, of saying, oh, let me go ahead and risk myself in an airport and risk myself in a plane. How many times you're in a plane where people behind you are coughing or kids are spitting on you and stuff, standing in the seats and sneezing all over you? How many times have I come home from an airport, which I hardly fly, just sick for 10 days of who knows what? Like, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I need to be hospitalized. Like, I literally, that's when I found out the provings of the homeopathic medicine. Um, anyways, so I get like that where it's COVID or no COVID. Why would I, if I'm a healthcare provider and have primary care, why would I fly home and stay there? I could, but a lot of my patients, like almost half of my patients, got COVID positive recently. So me doing telehealth and not having them come in the office or me doing house call might have saved my life and my kid's life. We could be dead on ventilators. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. That hair looks so long. You know, all you people that have long hair, my hair is really short and I never cut it. And when it grows like that, I'm just like, oh, it's like Barbie hair. Oh, because I don't know what's wrong with me, my body, and everything. So that's where I am right now. I was hopeless. I used to be really optimistic. I was hopeless a couple weeks ago. Like, I will tell you, I was super hopeless. I got the faith of a little tiny mustard seed, and I had some hope again. And it feels like it's getting crushed. That mustard seed is being crushed and mortar and pestled. And I don't know the difference between a mortar and a pestle, but I know I have a pair of them over here. Or one set of them, I mean. I don't know which part's the mortar. Maybe it's the stick part. But it's like I end up feeling like I've been having the plan to get out of debt. I've been having to plan that, oh, if God gave me jobs 20 hours a day, $12 an hour, or $13 an hour, or $9.75 an hour, then that means that I have to work these jobs and still run a clinic and run myself raggedy, run the car raggedy, run my kids raggedy, coming and going all hours of day and night, 24/7, all holidays, except for, I think, Pizza Hut is closed on Christmas. Other jobs used to give us holiday pay. It was only $1 more per hour, so it was like $14.50 or whatever. That vending job, if you get it from a private company, usually pays like $22 an hour at the lowest, at the entry level. It's not always where you have to sell a certain amount. That's just the base pay, so that we're really getting a little bit of money. So it's one of those things where I feel like, God, if I have the faith and hope in mustard seed, my boyfriend is not liking me at all. I'm trying to get help with physical and mental conditions, which I had been denied in Oregon. I had been denied by the auto accident insurance. I had been denied by the clinics. I called up to 2 hours away from me and my son trying to get, I have a whole list on my old computer of all these places that I tried to get an intake and try to get an intake at one place. I tried so hard to get mental health. That was part of my plan. I was on welfare and housing, and I was refused the intake, and they said it was walk-in, and I had called one day saying, I want to verify that walk-in is such time, driving around in a raggedy car. You don't just want to drive in the ghetto in a raggedy car if it's not. So oh, I'm on my way right now. Like, no, don't come in. We're already full for the day. I was like, what about tomorrow? Like, no, you have to get here early. Like, she's like, call first. So every day I call, she's like, no intakes, no intakes, no intakes. I didn't go down there because I was working part-time and going to school. But I was that was before I was working. I think I was going to school. I was on welfare, so $400 something a month. And you had to pay rent and electric with like 100%, like 98.9%. So the little bit you got left over was what you used for gas to get to where you're going. I had an old Ford Tempo. It was like crap. Like literally getting pennies and stuff to get gas. And I was getting a gas card sometimes from welfare or bus tickets. So I was taking the bus as much as I can. And then to go to church, I try to use the gas card like once a week, or drive once a week. unless the kids had to be at school on Saturday for something, because the bus only ran like during rush hour. It was weird. Like the bus to their school only ran during rush hour, like mornings. It was in like a suburb, so they didn't, like, the people didn't use the bus, like, suburb from downtown, so they had a loop, but to get to their school, it was like between 7 and 10 a.m. and like evening rush hour, and then the daytime, afternoon, and weekends they didn't run the bus in that neighborhood. Like, it's like far away from the bus, um, to where we lived, from where we lived, on like an hour something bus ride. It was like 2 hour bus ride. Anyways, different story. So I struggled. My boyfriend doesn't like who I am. I don't like who I am. I never had. I hired a counselor to help me get some self-esteem, try to self-talk and learn some techniques. That didn't work out. She made me feel guilty about being with my boyfriend. She was trying to be pushy. No, you need to do it like this. You need to do it like that. And I would like, as a practitioner, to have someone do, like, say it's a physical exercise instead of just a mirror and talking. You say, well, here's how you do it. I'm going to demonstrate it. And then, now you try it. And they're going to be like, ugh. You're like, okay, let's try again. Slowly. And then they go, okay. And then you talk for a few minutes. Okay, go ahead and do that exercise. Let me see how you do it. Oh, okay, you'll get to it. Here's a handout, or here's a YouTube video you can click on. You can do the exercise. You come in 2 days later. Let's do the exercise together. Oh, you got it. Good. Looking inside the mirror. Let's lift up your chin. Let's lift up your elbows. I feel like you could teach the technique, do it as perfect as you can, especially if it's something physical, you don't want to tweak something else. But then you work with them, but you don't say, no, you're not doing it right. Oh, yeah. It just makes you do it, and you're like, this is supposed to help my self-esteem, help me to deal with abusive people, and it's not helping. So what does that have to do with prepping? What if there's a time where you don't, let's say that the U.S. collapsed, the dollar collapsed, and the U.S. collapsed, and some hacker messed up the internet, and we can't get our stocks and our cryptocurrency and our banks, and the ATMs are shut down. So people that have cash on hand, chicken eggs, like whatever you have, empty jars that I have, they literally have that, right? What does that mean? Oh my God. A new way of life. Rioting, looting. There could be a storm. Electricity's out. People are having winter storms. There's no gas stations. Some people have gas cans that get stolen, siphoned, all this kind of things. You fend for yourself, but you still get in trouble. So even now, the police aren't showing up at things. They weren't showing up before COVID. People are still sick. People can set up the hospital manually, use paper charts and all that stuff, but what about their refrigerator, medicine, and vaccines, labs, all that stuff? You're used to computer, like that, moving the net. So you have a collapse. So you could say now, oh, I'm doing a physical therapy, oh, I'm doing therapy. Just be grateful that the times you get it. If it's not right, be grateful you don't have to be around that person. If you're in a marriage or a partnership you don't like, you don't have to be with that person. Sometimes kids are involved, makes it hard. But you could say, what if there's a collapse? Then you'll be grateful for every little bit of training you got, or doing that exercise might have got it so that you can use your shotgun and go hunting. Because before, maybe you couldn't even lift your arm the right way. So you can be grateful for everything. You can be grateful that you did have certain jobs. Because maybe your job paid low like mine, but you got 10,000 plus steps in a day. Even if you're injured like me and you're all bundled up, have ankle brace and have this, have crutch, have cane, have a whatever. Maybe that kept you from being 400 pounds. Maybe that made it so you have endurance so that you can do that many steps. Was that 7 miles, 7.5 miles? Or maybe you have a bug out location in a cache, or maybe you have a storage at the one end of your property and you have to walk to the other, or you have your storage on your boyfriend's grandparents' property and you got to walk there, walk back, you don't have a bike. So what do you do then? You know what I'm saying? What do you do then? You keep your head. All this stuff, I'm self-talking now, it's like the light bulb comes on, my heart it's like it almost turned blue, like a little bit cold, like, uh-oh. What do you do then, guys? you gotta fight for your life. A lot of us, like people like me, you have to fight for your life, all of your life, whether you're being abused, whether you have substance use issues, whether you have discrimination, racism. You can have discrimination because you're not 127 pounds like your cousins and your siblings, and you're like 130 pounds, and it's like you have a little flabby stomach because you had a C-section or something, or you're on a medication that makes you a little bit puffy at certain times, or you have an allergy or bloating or something, and it's like, oh, well, you don't fit in. Sometimes you have a personal thing, car accidents, on the meeting, people were dying, or sorry, their loved ones were dying, you know what I'm saying? So I had to be grateful. I think for my preps, I feel like my phone's not even turning on. I feel like for myself, I struggle with loneliness and not having people. And if you're in a room full of people, or you have relatives that are close by or live in your house and they don't talk to you, it's more lonely than if you're in a house by yourself. Because then you can go get a cat and like dance to videos with your kitty cat, or use a laser light and play, and go outside and bring home some catnip or whatever you're going to do. Like you could do stuff. So I think it's lonely when you're in a family where they don't want to talk to you, or you're like me, and apparently people think I'm selfish, and I'm just like, oh, that's sad, So I'm thinking in my mind, like, I've been hungry, my stomach's been growling, I've been hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I have to go and get food. My boyfriend said I was stupid, ignorant for not getting food. I spent a lot of energy getting his food. There's been inclement weather. I have already racked out my credit card twice, fully to 8,000. Now I'm at 2,000, and I have about $72 a week coming in. I have to pay rent with that. For 4 weeks, that's less than $400. My rent is over. I gotta pay over 1,000. That's not even phone bill and all that stuff. I am really overwhelmed. All that stuff's going on a credit card. So I have to pay that off by the 13th of next month. I might get a charge this time, and I'm scared to call and ask for no interest, because then I'm going to end up keep buying food. Tempted to buy that raw food box, but I think I told myself to go through my preps. You're going to be eating wheatgrass powder and bee pollen. I got some royal jelly in the fridge. It might be expired. And I got a couple supplements. I can't even order. I got this kind of stuff. Like, you got a little bit of mineral water stashed from the COVID March April thing that from the office store. I had ordered some. I had never ordered LaCroix. I had never bought LaCroix, and I bought it. I bought 2 packs of it. Yeah, so I'm still going through the second pack, because I usually drink the Gerolsteiner. Or I was drinking the Perrier when I had some money, because I get like stomach aches and acid balance needed and all this stuff. I'm gonna be planting some sweet potatoes. You're gonna have to find your seeds and take those containers and start growing starts. That's what it's gonna be. So I'm afraid that I won't ever get money, and that I, as a raw foodist, mostly vegan except for bee products like this, will have to go through my preps right now and get down, and in the end of my 30-day no buy challenge, I'm going to end up having where I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have any food, and there might be a worse catastrophe going on, or it might be less money, or less access to money. So water is important. Shelter, security is very, very important. Water is the most important. If you're outside and you're living under a tree, you still need water. You'd be better off living in a shelter, or even a cabin with a roof, even under a tarp. So then you get like, you could forage for food. You could go without for 3 weeks, but like me not having food lately, even though I'm eating oranges, at least one orange a day. My stomach's rumbling. It's waking me up at night. The ailments feel worse. Headache. I had a COVID vaccine. I don't know if that's affecting my mood and everything. My honey, I tried to cut this and the Bragg liquid amino out. I decided to get the honey. I might not be able to get it. I tried to eat other honeys and stuff like that. I was getting lightheaded, especially the jobs you don't have breaks or you have accommodations that you have to sit some of the time, or sometimes you don't eat and you get more dizzy. Well, you're going to get dizzy when you don't eat at all. Some people can go without eating. They usually do caffeine and stuff. I was doing that. I was going with the little chocolates that I was making, the raw, dark chocolates. Just cutting them in like quarters or eighths. And just eating a little bit every hour. It tastes so good. It was so rich. Like rich as in just cocoa, mainly agave. Like those were like straight vegan. I had to cut it out because I was getting dependent on it. I got laid off my other job, so I was doing the cocoa stuff from the health food store. And then I was doing the almonds and the olive oil. So that's how I got fat too, because I was trying to spend all my money for my kids so they'd get a little meat, potatoes, and they had that guinea pigs, carrots and stuff. So I was broke. I got denied unemployment before, because they said that I was training to deliver babies, and I was going to, when I could, I was going to a midwife's office, which I was doing. I was already working 2 jobs, self-employment, and I was working at a medical clinic 20 hours a week, every week, 4 days, 20 hours. And unemployment said, you're not available. No, they didn't say it because of the training. They might have said it because of the training. They said, because of my kids. I had to take my kids to the Oaks test in the spring. And I said, they said, do you have any conflicts at all? And I said, yeah, they go to the Oaks test in the spring. And they said, you're not available for school because you have to take your kids to school every day. I was like, you're not available to work. My kids do web school. They don't need to ride to school every day. But you can't fight that. Like, they approved me for self-employment. Which is $400 a month. $400 a month, or $475 a month, I think, to do on my friend's like, oh, unemployment, that's $400 a week, right? I'm like, she's like, oh, that sounds rather low. I'm like, yeah, because the place I work lied, and I got in a car accident, which I missed some work. They had somehow lied about. They said I was going to get 75% of my income. Liar. All right, so let's think of little Mia. I was going to do that series of the Pika D, one of my characters from one of my stories, and I had actually tried to, on an online dating site, I was Pika D. If anyone saw me on there, that is actually me, Mia. Pika D is frustrated, it's dark, it's freezing rain, she's not getting along with her partner. She wants to clean her house, but she's exhausted. She's hungry. She's starting to eat more seaweed because she found a stash of seaweed, which may or may not. The one good thing about the not having the food is it's forcing me to look in boxes and bags like a squirrel. Like, there's got to be something in here. It's like just a bunch of junk. There's got to be something in the bottom of this bag. Like, I got to go through this bag. I think it's just paper bags. I found the seaweed, like 10 sheets of seaweed in there, raw seaweed that I wet and put spices on. Sometimes I dehydrate it. I ate that whole bag of pumpkin seeds. I have a couple bags, 1 or 2 bags of kale chips pre-made. I think I might try them with spray the liquid aminos on it. I do have 1 honey over there, and I have a 1 honey here, and then the open one there. And then I save these containers so that I can put like lemon or put vinegar water. That's what I'll probably do for this one. That'll call me. Put vinegar water in here, and then that way you can save the honey, not waste it. I don't have a spatula or anything. And then the no spin. I told you guys that after the no spin, I knew I had to buy gas regularly. I work out of town, so I have to buy gas a lot more than I wish, and we're sharing the same car this week we got to take 2 separate cars because we have to both work. I got to leave at 5 something, and he's got to leave at 4 something or whatever, 3 or 4 something a.m. If I get the job at the post office again, I'll be going back to work at 3. I'm scared of that job. It is like torture. Oh my god. And I have to wrap everything up. I gotta find my ankle brace anyway. So I have that. I have, looking for stuff. I said I'd pay for gas. Trying to look for food and just eat it without worrying about, oh no, what if I'm not able to get food anymore after this? Well, that would be, if you can't get food after 30 days, then if you could have gotten $1,000 of fruit right now, you would have lasted at least 3-4 months. So I might be really stupid in doing this no buy challenge, but I don't have money. I don't have appropriate job. I'm trying to keep the shelter. I do have a bag of seeds for the sprouter, so I should probably sprout those today. Excuse me. I said I was going to buy ink and toner for the printer, for both printers. One was $230 something, and the other one, and I accidentally got another one for $58. So I don't have any money. I don't have food, but I spent $300 on toner, so that when I go back to my house, and my kids who are in college can use the printer, and I can fax them, or they can fax stuff for me, because I still work out of my business. So they're my office assistants, and they're sending the stuff to unemployment. I was looking in a P.O. box and in the home for a package from Brother, and I thought I ordered it when I started the challenge. I said, that is really on my list. Let me order that. Now, I thought I ordered some food. Must have been right around that time that some food came. And they were supposed to give me a discount, which they didn't give me. I have to contact them, find a cost. I'm tired of shopping there, that they're going to mess with you like that. But I looked yesterday, and there was no order. There was an order for the same thing in May and October or something like that. And I was, oh, crap. The order didn't go through or something. And it took a long time in the computer for the order to go through. So be careful, guys, when you order stuff. Because you use the phone sometimes. Like I tried to pay my phone bill. My phone bill is supposed to be $123, but then it's been $190, $180 something, and now it was $230 for a month when it's supposed to be $123. Then it was $123 plus $60 for the phones. I was like, oh my god! Like for $10 for the phone, $10 for the insurance. It was just a mess, and so I ended up needing to call T-Mobile because it's not supposed to be 200 something. So I put $80 something on my credit card because they sent me a late fee and everything, and I had $35 extra I pay. Then the 123 is supposed to be the phone bill, and so I've been paying twice that, so $70 something, whatever, double that. I've been paying that every other month, so that the next month I would be ahead, like I'd have an overpayment. But something happened where I think they're charging me late fees or interest or some penalty. Oh shoot, I didn't look at that, and they don't have the bill really written out like that. They're saying this month you pay for the service, and you pay for the phone, and you pay for the, like, I don't even see the taxes on there. Like, oh, you paid $5 more for a fee. I don't want a freaking fee. And then Comcast, my business phone, because I still have my office in Portland, $190 something. It's supposed to be like $140, or it's supposed to be like $120 for 2 phones and the internet. And so I had to call them. And I realized that I signed up for a contract, and it went up from $140 to $190. It went up $50 this month and next month. And then I had to put it on a freeze for $29.99 a month. So I was going to cancel the whole thing. Take out the whole phone line. I don't care right now. So I am sitting here feeling guilty because I really mouth-watered over this $200 worth of food delivered overnight from LA. And I am spending money on telephones and tablets and insurance, and especially the phones I'm not using, and all this stuff for my business. And My phone bills are going out, $50 here, extra ink cartridge. These people double charge you on Amazon because they never shipped your first one, but they didn't like credit it, or they didn't say, here, let me send it out. I was like, when I ordered this, I thought it was $37. Like, no, it's $40-something. Like, I swore when I went to order it was $37. Like, it went up $6. Like, that's not right. So now I have 2 charges on my credit card from Amazon. I just didn't even reorder the other stuff. I was like, I'm going to max out my credit card. Today's like maybe day 16 of the no buy challenge. So I'm failing. Today I didn't buy anything. I did buy gas. I had bought from Swap because my daughter sent me a coupon and a free shipping code. Oh my god. Sorry. I bought a brand new sweater. I told you this on another video. I had bought some other shirts. One I accidentally facepalmed. I think it was a Juniors. So it didn't say Juniors, and I saw the brand name after I ordered it and looked it up. I was like, oh crap, those are Juniors. I was like, I hope it's not a little kid size, like a toddler size. And it's super cute. I don't know the material. Some of this stuff is used. The sweater's new, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be like used. It's in a used environment. So I spent $30 on, I think, maybe 4 or 5 shirts. And they're kind of girly. The big sweater is a V-neck, puffy, orange, like real orange, navel orange, at least in the picture. And then I had bought the clothes that you see me sometimes. These clothes I had to buy because I was prepping for disaster, like get some long johns. I left all my winter clothes at my house. I wasn't planning on moving here. This is not my house. I had to buy a winter coat. I had to buy clothes for work at the post office, so I bought some t-shirts. I work outdoors, so I do need these. My boyfriend's like, you better get some long johns, and I only have 1 pair, so they stink right now. I'm going to wash them right now. And so I think I had to buy boots, and I had to get a pair of work boots. Everything, I had to get wool socks. I had left all my stuff at my house. Underwear got left. My eBay store got left. And so I had to buy the thrift store, St. Vincent's, to get warm clothes, and I got fat from being stressed out from not eating, going through this waxing and waning. It's not like I'm going to do a 30-day juice fast that I'm really going to stick to. It's like, no, I'm not eating because I don't freaking have money to buy food. If my boyfriend's calling me an idiot, then I'm not going to be putting up with that. So I spent $30 in the last week. Maybe it was $31 because they taxed me. And I paid for shipping. So I spent $30-something. The printer was $37. That's my fault for not ordering it. I already said that it needed to be ordered, even because that needed to be ordered, because I'm printing stuff out for work and for unemployment, all that kind of stuff that needs to be printed out. And the yellow's got the thing. I always have this. You're supposed to print 200 pages. I never print 200 freaking pages of ink or paper. Okay, yeah, I never go through 200. If I had 200, I would have used this paper up a long time ago. Like, it's like 1,000 sheets or like 400 sheets. I would have, you know what I mean? I would have used that paper up in a month. This is the 4th time I bought ink. So they lie when they say up to 200. It's like, if you print like a period on each page, maybe. And so if I had that many pieces of paper, this stuff mailed to me, I'd have file cabinets stacked up with paper. So I don't like that. So I try to, every time I change it, I want to make sure before I change this one, or when I change the last one, to make sure, so you have 2 packs. So when this one, the yellow goes out, then the black will go out. When I change those, I was hoping to have another one, because you never know, you might print like 50 pages in 1 week because you have to do something for your job or for something, or you might have a picture you need to print, or a picture that someone takes of a form. You had to print that. It has a bunch of dark shadows on it and stuff. So you print that up. And you have extra toner so that you can not have to go pay, $9 a page to go get it done in an office store. Or you're like this, you need to print it. You can stay at home, scan it, and email it to somebody, or take a photograph of it. in the icy weather, you don't want to have to go out and try to track down the ink or the paper for that matter. So that's been my thing. I'm gonna go and do story time. I'm gonna go and burn some sage, and I'm gonna eat something, then I'm gonna wash these PJs since I said they stink.